Hi, this is Dr. Kelly Pearson back again, and we've identified that you, in fact, are ready to make some changes. So let's begin talking about the most obvious concern about milk, and that is people think it's the lactose they're intolerant to. Let's break that back down into recognizing lactose is one of the primary sugars in milk. And we have created solutions for people who are lactose intolerant, and this is one of them, lactate, that actually provides the enzyme to break down the sugars so you don't have near the reaction. But truly, the fact is that doesn't work as well as we'd like. But the real issue is not so much the lactose, the sugar, but it's actually more commonly the primary protein in milk, the amino acid known as casein. Now, whey is another protein in milk, but it's much less irritating to the body, and it's really not our object of concern. So let's talk about what the heck all this means. So proteins essentially are just strings of little amino acids that are hooked together in various and sundry forms, and once they've come together, you can name that protein. So casein, like other proteins, is a string of amino acids, and it actually has over 200 amino acids in that string. This is where it gets sort of too scientific, but stick with me, it's not that difficult. So there are, in the world of cows, genetically A2 cows and A1 cows. And really the primary difference in these cows, and the genetic change happened well over 1,000 years ago, is that on the 67th amino acid from the left in this protein called casein, in an A2 cow, that 67th amino acid is proline, one of the amino acids. Whereas in an A1 cow, that 67th amino acid is not proline. In fact, it's histidine. Now this is where it gets rather interesting. There is a substance known as bovine CASOMORPHIN 7, and it has a very, very strong affinity to proline. And so when it's attached to proline, it doesn't get disassociated and into your body, into your gut, and into your cells. Where the actual fact is the opposite with histidine. It does not have such a strong affinity to histidine, so when you drink that type of milk, that BCM7 tends to be released into the body through the colon and then through the bloodstream. Now, that's problematic because this BCM7 is really the critter that is causing most of the problem around milk. Now here's the bottom line. Cows that produce milk in this country particularly, 98% of them are A1 cows. And if you remember, those are the ones that have the histidine. So in actual fact, this bovine CASOMORPHIN 7 is being readily released into our bodies when we are drinking commercially produced milk. And when we break down this BCM7, bovine stands for cow, obviously. Caso comes from the amino acid we're discussing, casein. Morphine is a sedative from this congregation that actually passes through the blood-brain barrier, and 7 constitutes the fact there are 7 amino acids in this bovine CASOMORPHIN 7. And we're going to talk about in the next section, what's the big deal about CASOMORPHIN 7 as a respiratory distressor and some of these other primary issues. So stay tuned. We're excited to take the next step.